Good morning. Good morning from Sydney, Australia. Hope you're doing well this morning. It is Tuesday here in Sydney, Tuesday, the 3rd of December. My goodness, which means, yeah, we're one day closer to Christmas. One day closer. But not only are we one day closer to Christmas, we are day two of our December boost camp. We had quite a few people start with us officially yesterday. But in saying that, I've seen quite a few people who are going to be starting throughout this week and some people starting next week as well. And we've even got people starting the week after that. Because here's the thing, here's the beautiful thing that I really love about boost camp is that number one, you can start whenever you like. So do not think for a second that you have to wait or that you need to start, when other people start. You start when you're ready because it's not so much about when you start, it's the fact that you do start. Because every time you eat a healthy meal, every time you choose a meal that is going to support you and your goals and your journey over a meal that's less supportive, you are looking after the health of your gut, so your gut microbiome, which is really important. You are reducing inflammation. And the really cool thing about Boost Camp is you are learning what to eat and when to eat it. So it doesn't matter when you start. You can come join us now. You can sign up now. You can start next week. You can start tomorrow. You can start the day after Christmas if that's what you want to do. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start. So we started yesterday. And and I gotta say, gosh, that was a lot of food. It's if that's like boost camp problems, right? Boost camp problems. I'm writing this one down. Boost camp problems. There was a lot of food yesterday. I was full. By the time I got to dinner, my plate was dinner would normally be my plate was like that. It was kind of like that. It was like a dessert bowl. I was so full from lunch and from breakfast. So it is day two, and I've already seen. And good morning to Meryl, and good morning to Heather as well. I've already seen online that there are people who've joined our boost camp and they've woken up this morning and they're like, how am I, have I lost a kilo overnight when all I did yesterday was eat? It's crazy, right? Because when you know what to eat and you know the right foods to eat and you know when to eat and you listen to your body, which is what I did yesterday, right? There's no way I was going to finish all that food. But what I did do is I ate the food. I did actually have to force myself to have a bit of dinner last night, but I just had a portion, like a little portion, and I wasn't thinking about food as I was working later on into the evening. I wasn't thinking about food when I jumped into bed last night after I brushed my teeth. I just went to sleep and had a really, really, really good sleep because I was satisfied and I was full. One of the mistakes that we can often make, and good morning to Narelle as well. Good morning. One of the mistakes that we can make, and this is really common, is that we skip meals, and in skipping meals we get to a certain time, usually during the day, either in the afternoon, like let's just say you've skipped breakfast or lunch, and you get a certain time in the afternoon and you're just ravenous, right? You're starving. Your body is out of energy. You haven't put enough food in during the day to give you the energy you need to get through the next couple of hours, or you get to that after, that late night, later night, sitting maybe in front of the telly, and then you start looking for food. So I did actually make sure, and good morning to Becky, good morning. I did actually make sure that I ate all my food yesterday, all the food in the meal plan, because I'm again, this is about, yes, listening to our body, but also understanding the important role that nutrition plays in weight loss, the important role that nutrition plays in getting healthy. It is, you've got to always be mindful of these situations, and it's one of the things that I learned very early on in this journey is that what I thought I knew about health I actually didn't know, because I was in the line of thinking that the if I eat less I will lose weight. But actually, you know what happens when you don't eat enough nutrition, right? when you're not eating enough of the good stuff, your body actually looks at it and goes, well, where's my nutrition coming? What's going on? I'm starving of nutrition. So when you eat enough nutrition, your body will get into the flow of weight loss. Your body will get into the flow of health gain. So don't skip a meal, especially if you're on Boost Camp right now. Make sure you're spacing them out if you need to. Breakfast is probably going to be a little bit earlier today than it was yesterday for me and the boys, just because we realized after we had breakfast when they got back from the gym. And so it probably wasn't until about 11:30, and I think that's why I didn't quite get through my dinner last night, because I was still full. So breakfast, we're going to break our fast a little bit earlier this morning. We're playing around with the times. The boys have already headed off to the gym already, and they should be back pretty soon. And I'm going to be getting into heating up our breakfast for day 2 of our Boost Camp. But like I said, I'm completely I'm so happy when I wake up in the morning after one day on Boost Camp and people are like, how did I lose 1 kilo overnight? What's going on? How did I lose 1.5 kilos? And yeah, someone in our house had a pretty awesome result when they jumped on the scales this morning after their first time being on Boost Camp. So before I get into our topic for today, which is 5 sneaky strategies that you can use to eat out. I'm talking about going out to a restaurant or a cafe or a pub or a bar or whatever. So 5 strategies that you can use this Christmas or holiday time or eating out in general, sneaky strategies that work so you can stay on top of it, because you do all this hard work in your own kitchen, but we can't always eat from our own kitchen. So what can you do? What are things that you can do? And I've got 5 really awesome strategies for you guys. Before we do that, I'm just going to say a very good morning to Sharon. Good morning. Sharon is just letting us all know. Look at that. Just had our Boost Camp breakfast. Congratulations, Sharon. It's delicious, isn't it? It's one of my favorite breakfasts this time around, I have to say. I grew up with a lot of those ingredients. They were just not served that way often. So it's really nice that we're able to serve them and make them just that little bit healthier. So also saying good morning to Trish. Good morning, Trish. I hope you're well. Oh, the beautiful Teresa. Teresa is joining us too. And Linda, good morning. And to Sue as well. So strategies for eating out, really important, especially at this time of year. We can find that we are expected to go out, especially if it's like a work do or a work function, right? So we can be expected to go out. We can be expected, to go to Christmas parties or do's or get-togethers, or maybe you just want to. Maybe you're really busy and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I actually can't. I actually have to spend some of my time eating out. But how can I do it and make sure that I'm healthy, make sure that I'm choosing the best option? So these are 5 strategies that work, and these are the strategies that I use. So this is also science telling us that a lot of the strategies that I share with you guys are all backed by really, really good science. So we're talking about science-backed strategies for eating out, and yeah, there is such a thing. But also, just having done this lifestyle for such a long time, these are the strategies that I know work. And once you kind of get into these habits, they literally just become the thing that you do. And these are the things that I do without even have to think about it every single time we eat out. And we do eat out, often, because we are invited to places, we travel a lot as well. And, and we don't always have the luxury. And isn't it funny? I call eating from my kitchen the luxury, right? Because it means that I've had the time to go into my kitchen, cook something healthy, cook something delicious. Of course, there's shopping involved as well. There's prep involved. So the luxury of eating in my kitchen isn't always possible. So here are the 5 things, the sneaky strategies that actually work. All right, so number 1 thing that you can do, the absolute number 1 thing that you can do, and something that I do out of interest, but I do now out of absolute habit, is before you go out, it's always a good idea to know where you're going for a start, right? And if it's something that's been planned in advance, chances are you do know the restaurant or the pub that you're going to or the cafe. Maybe it's somewhere that you go out often. Maybe it's every Sunday you go and have brunch at this particular cafe, whatever it might be. So it always pays to know where you're going. If you sort of going into an area you're not familiar with, or you're dining out with other people and they chose the place to eat at, just, hit them up and ask them, send them a text message, give them a call and say, hey, look, where are we going? What is the name of the restaurant? Once you get the name of the restaurant, you then have the ability to stalk that restaurant. And by stalking, what I mean is you are going in and you're looking at the menu, because most places now have that available online. My favorite resource to find menus is actually Google Maps. So I am a heavy user of Google Maps. Google Maps is not just to find locations. Google Maps is to understand, if you go into a restaurant, for example, on Google Maps, there'll be restaurant reviews. There's usually photos of the restaurant. There's usually images of the food. And a lot of restaurants now have the menu. And even if the menu isn't officially being uploaded by the business, you'll have people who will take photographs of the menu and leave that menu on Google Maps. Like I said, I love Google Maps. I've been using it since it almost first came out. But now that we have this ability to look at menus online, also with Google Maps, you can see if you're wondering what's the best time to go, they'll actually give you times when the place is busy. So you could maybe book when it's not so busy if you've got that luxury as well. But it's such an amazing resource. But the menu part of that resource is really incredible. So go into Google Maps, put the restaurant into Google Maps and literally stalk the restaurant. Look at the menu. What this means is that you are not as tempted or as what I like to call menu shopped as if you were to just walk in and they put the menu down in front of you on the table, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. So stalking the menu gives you a bit of an idea about, especially if you've never been to that restaurant before, about what the food is like, what sort of things they serve at that particular restaurant or bar or club or whatever it is. So I've got a bit of a menu. I'm actually going to show you how I break down a menu. Because it's really interesting and it's a question that I often get asked. So here's a bit of a menu for you guys. Give me a second. Where is it? Here it is. It's the breakfast menu. Well, let me get rid of that first. You guys don't need to see that anymore. 1 second, guys. I'll get rid of the banner. Here we go. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Have a close look. So this is a breakfast menu of a restaurant that's part of a hotel chain, quite a large hotel chain. This is actually a Sydney-based restaurant, Sydney-based hotel, Sydney-based restaurant. Ignore the prices on the side there. You might be looking at it going, I'm not paying, $24 for smashed avocado. And I would feel the same way as well. But how would you look at this menu and go, well, what am I going to eat? Like, what is there? What possibly is there? I can tell you right from the start, ignore the top section. Do not start your day with juice. That is the worst possible thing you can start your day with. So just for a start, you've just saved $8, right? You're not having the juice selection. You know what to do for breakfast. Like what I'm doing. Can you guys see that? Yep, got my black coffee there. Got my black coffee. Got my water bottle. There she is. You don't take your water bottle. Just ask for water. Grab yourself a black coffee, a black tea, a nice cup of tea, like a nice herbal tea. Ignore the juices. Why? The juice will spike your blood glucose like you would not believe. It is literally liquid sugar. There is more sugar. Here's the crazy thing. There's more sugar in a glass of juice than there usually is in a glass of Coca-Cola or Sprite. So ignore that juice one. That's one of the first things. Don't ever get the juice. Have your black coffee, have your black tea, have your green tea, have all the tap water or sparkling water or mineral water that you want. All right, let's look at the menu here. So I stalk the menu. I'll go on, I'll look at it on Google Maps. Yes, I found this obviously online. And already I can tell you right from the start, I'm not going to have the juices. I'm absolutely not going to go anywhere near the granola because who knows what's in that, right? Chances are there's lots of fruits. Look at that. You've got tropical fruits. You've got passion fruit curd as well. Sheep milk's yogurt sounds a little bit interesting. I'm not going to lie. But I would absolutely avoid that because that's just another sugar bomb. I will then avoid anything that is on toast, even if it's gluten-free, because let's be honest, gluten-free toast is also going to spike your blood glucose. So I would ignore that next line, that that toast there. Of course, I can always also tell you I'm not going to be looking at that croissant. Okay, French toast, I'm not going to be having that. And you're probably going, what would you have? Because, the first like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I would also avoid that smashed avocado because it's just served on sourdough. Yeah, it's got a poached egg, but geez, $24. Excuse me. I would ignore that as well. I mean, I could buy an avocado for $2. I'm not going to pay $24 just because you smashed it and put a poached egg on it. But anyway, I would avoid that, and I'd look at that, go, sourdough, blah, 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 blah. And I would just continue down until I'm like, aha. The TWR, which is the name of the restaurant, they've got what looks like a big breakfast, and I'll probably go for this because firstly, I get 2 eggs, probably cooked to my liking. I'd either go poached, scrambled without any dairy. Yeah, there you go, poached, scrambled, or fried. I'd go poached. There's a bit of tomato there, which has got a little bit of confit, which means it's done in a little bit of olive oil, which would be nice. Oh, there's sauteed mushrooms. I'd have those. I'd probably give the hash brown away, and I'd eat the spinach, and I'd say no sourdough. But instead, what I would do is I would go down to the sides, and I would add maybe some smoked mushrooms. I would maybe add some avocado, right? So I would actually boost up my breakfast by adding the sides there. So I'm salivating because I haven't had breakfast yet, and I reckon that's going to be a really great way to start my day, even though I'm eating out in a hotel. I'm having poached eggs, I'm having tomato, I'm having mushrooms, I'm having spinach, I'm having avocado as well. So I will and I might even get some smoked salmon. Why not? In fact, I might ask them, instead of the chipolata, because I'm just like, I don't know what's in the sausage. I'm sure it's a nice sausage for $32. Better be a nice sausage, right? That better be the best sausage I've ever eaten. But I might say, you know what, guys, can I please swap out instead of the chipolata, can I have the smoked salmon instead? So I will build my breakfast. And what you can find, when you are pre-looking at the menu, right? So when you are kind of going through and having a look yourself, what you will often find is you can build, especially at breakfast time, you can build your own breakfast. A lot of places will also have some type of salad that you could add to it. There might be different types of vegetable sides, but I will often go with the poached eggs because, fried eggs, I know what they're frying it in. I'll go with the poached, and then I'll build my vegetable sides around it. And the main thing that I will do is I will avoid the carbohydrate load, which tends to be the sourdough or the gluten-free toast. Please don't get sucked in when it comes to gluten-free toast either, because it will spike your blood glucose. So I will start with this hearty breakfast, right? I will avoid fruit because, again, I don't want to spike my blood glucose. I will avoid any of the granola. But here's the thing. I know in advance exactly what I'm going to get before I've even rocked up to that hotel and stayed the night or turned up for a breakfast meeting. I already know what I'm going to get because I've stalked the menu. I've built my meal around what I've seen from that menu, and I don't have any menu shock when I walk in. Because what will often happen is we will get tempted. And of course we will, because it's new and novel. And when things are new and novel, you're like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, I really like the sound of that granola. I just think I get that. Oh my gosh, those eggs Benedict, right? I'll just get that. But we know what, eggs Benedict are delicious. It is delicious. I do have a healthy version though with the dairy-free sauce that goes with it. But of course, we want to just minimize our impact on our blood sugar. We want to get as many vegetables in as possible. And we want to do it, and we want to still be able to eat quite delicious. So build your menu or your plate around you. If you look at it and you go, wow, look at me. I think it was the first 6 or 7 items. In fact, it wasn't until I got to almost to the end of the menu that I was like, yes, there's something I can eat. Now, if it's dinner time, it's the same thing. Look at the menu and, and build around it. Sometimes you've got to choose multiple sides of dishes in order to get your fiber or your vegetable quota up. That's absolutely fine as well. So number one strategy, absolute number one strategy, is to stalk the menu. And look what I just did. I just built my breakfast around a menu, and I'm not even sitting inside the restaurant. Really, really smart. So another thing that you can do, this is strategy number 2, is when you are choosing foods, you always want to go for foods that are either steamed, which is a really healthy way of approaching, whether it be your protein or your vegetables. You want to go for things that are grilled. So when we talk about grilled, that's either been cooked under a grill, or sometimes it's cooked on top of a grill, which I know is a little bit confusing. Depends what country you are watching this from. So a grill can either be something where the food is almost like a char grill, right? So you think about like barbecue style thing. Or a grill is what happens when something is being grilled from the top down. So grilling usually is a pretty decent way of eating, whether it be a piece of fish, like a grilled piece of salmon, or maybe it's a steak, or maybe it's some vegetables that have been thrown onto the char grill as well. So grilling is a good way. Another good way is to, as I was saying with the eggs, I would choose poached instead of fried. I would definitely stay away from anything that's been deep fried, of course, because often it's deep fried in some pretty toxic oils, and it just massively increases the fat content in that food as well. And I go for the poached. I will go for something that's been roasted as well often, but my favorite forms are just something really simple that's been grilled or poached or steamed. And that doesn't matter whether you're looking at your protein or whether, of course, you're looking at your vegetables. So that is strategy number 2, is always choose foods. And look, if it doesn't say on the menu, ask. Just be polite. Like in restaurants, we do not mind people asking questions. What we don't like is when you're not being polite. So just be polite, be courteous. That's how you'll get a good reaction from the staff if you're being polite and courteous. So just got some from Bronwyn. I'm just looking at my comments here. Oh, Bronwyn's just asking. Oh, I'll get to that later on, Bronwyn. I do promise I will keep on going. Where are we? So that was strategy number 2. Choose the cooking method wisely. Strategy number 3 is if you're ordering something that comes with a sauce, always get the sauce served on the side, because this is often where restaurants and bars and pubs will sneak in a few unwanted items. Let's say you go for the grilled salmon with broccolini. Sounds amazing. Maybe you may sprinkle some sesame seeds on it, add a bit of salt and pepper, side of lemon on a lemon wedge as well for squeezing, and then they pour some sauce over it. Maybe it's a beurre blanc, which is like a butter sauce with a bit of vinegar, a bit of fresh herbs in it. Sounds delicious, right? A beurre blanc, but of course that has now increased the fat content quite a lot. And if you eat out a lot, that's something that you want to avoid. So I will always say sauce on the side. Even if it doesn't say it on the menu, just ask for that every time that you do that. Just say, sauce on the side, dressing on the side, whether it's your main course, whether it's a gravy, or whether it's an actual salad dressing, doesn't matter. I always ask for it on the side. And then what I will do often is, if it's not already coming with the dish, I will ask for a couple of wedges of lemon. Kitchens always have lemon. And then I'm able to dress the salad myself with just a bit of lemon juice, a grinding of pepper if you've got pepper on the table, and a sprinkle of salt as well, because you can always make your own dressing, which is actually a really smart way of doing it. So sauce always on the side, dressings on the side, gravy definitely on the side, because often this is where they sneak in the sugar, they sneak in the extra fats and oils, and sometimes those oils can be quite toxic, and there's often gluten and grains and stuff in the gravies as well. So that is strategy number 3. Always sauce, dressings, gravies on the side. All right, strategy number 4. Strategy number 4 is you can always ask for an extra side of vegetables, because remember, the trick or the real hack when it comes to weight loss, weight maintenance, health gain, is the amount of vegetables that we can get onto our plate. It's the same with Boost Camp. It's the same when I'm off Boost Camp. I'm always considering the amount of fiber that's on my plate. So don't be afraid to ask for or order an extra side of vegetables. Even if your main meal may come with vegetables, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from ordering an extra side of vegetables. So, look at the sides in the dish. Sometimes
my dish will be whatever the main protein is, whether it be chicken or fish or beef. And then I will have 5 or 6 sides that I will share. I will share at the table. I have 5 or 6 different sides. It might be broccolini, might be a salad with no dressing on the side. It could be, you know, whatever the vegetables are, I will tend to get them and put them on the side. So don't be afraid. Strategy number 4 is don't be afraid to double up on the vegetables. Because remember the other strategy, and this is strategy number 5. This is strategy number 5, which kind of pulls into strategy number 4 as well, is to make sure that you eat in the right order. So, you know, your entree, even if you can't see an entree on the menu, that kind of fits in with making sure you're eating lots of fiber, lots of vegetables, you know, and being as healthy as you can possibly be by making sure that you've got some good fiber in your entree. I will often start with a side of vegetables if I can't see an entree that kind of fits in with what I want. So eating in order is another really awesome strategy. In fact, this strategy of eating food in the right order can reduce down the carbohydrate load that you're having. So the amount of glucose that's flooding into your system by up to 30%. So this is really important. And what this is known as is layering the food in your tummy. So if you start with the most nutritious part of your meal, which of course is going to be the vegetables, which is high in nutrients, will feed your healthy gut bacteria. What you're actually getting is you're getting the fiber first. And if you think about the word fiber, you know, your body takes a bit of time to break those fibers down. It's not like you're having a glass of juice which goes straight through you, give you a sugar high, and then, you know, you're on your way. When we're talking about fiber, what you're getting is you're getting these strands of food. You're getting these complex, there's almost like a complex web that is in these vegetables, and your body does take time to break that food down before it moves on to stage 2 of digestion, which means you are feeling fuller longer. But you're almost like creating this layering of food in your tummy, so you're not getting as quick or as high of a blood glucose spike. So always eat your food in the right order. If there's nothing on the menu that looks like you can start off with some fiber or some vegetables, order a side. Start with a salad. Make that your entree. Dressing on the side, of course, make that your entree. But always start with fiber first. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes that people often make, and this is why restaurants do it, is they give you bread to start. Like sometimes they'll even give you free bread on the table when you arrive, or breadsticks or something like that. Do not start with the bread, because bread is a carbohydrate. You're going to get a massive blood glucose spike. So basically, you're going to go on a sugar high, and you've just sat down at the table. Always start with your plants, start with your fiber. And if it means ordering a side of vegetables to start, and you think that's weird, trust me, you will get into that habit. You will so get into that habit so quickly that it'll feel really weird to start your meal with bread, but it just would not feel right. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a reduction in blood sugar. You're also going to get your tummy emptying out a lot slower, which means that you're going to be feeling fuller longer, and you're going to be filling up with the most nutritious part of your meal. So those are my 5 strategies. But before I go, we do have a question. So this is from Bronwyn. Any idea when the new cookbook will be ready? Pre-orders usually have a date when the item will be available. Thank you. So Bronwyn, the only reason we haven't got a date is because we are just, and I should get that date for you guys today from the printer. So because it's Christmas, because it's coming from overseas, all of the books are getting printed overseas. They're then put into a container and they have to come here. I can't give you an exact date because I don't know how long it's going to take for the shipping to happen. I am being told that we're looking at January now for the book, but I will update you guys as soon as I know. The reason why it's taken a little bit longer than normal is because we're doing this during Christmas, which wasn't the smartest move. But at the same time, it's all underway. Please don't panic. Please don't worry. You're not going to miss out. As soon as the books land, everyone will get their books. But we're being told January is looking like it's going to be our time for that, which is super exciting. What are we saying? Cheryl is just saying, I always go the big breakfast, then give anything I shouldn't eat to my husband. I am absolutely the same, Cheryl. I do that.
But in saying that, we tend to eat pretty well, and he no longer has the bread, which is just so exciting, right? And yes, it's a long black or a black coffee or Americano instead of a cappuccino or a latte. And I always feel pretty great leaving for breakfast. And it's the same with dinner as well. So strategies are here and they work when we do them or use them. So please don't think that, this Christmas time you have to give it all away. We can still go out, we can still enjoy, we can still socialize. If you are drinking alcohol, make sure that you eat food first is always a good idea. So this is strategy number 6. Eat food first if you are drinking alcohol. And of course, if alcohol is a part of your meal or part of your going out, make sure you're drinking, a good big glass of water for every glass of alcohol that you have as well. So there you go, guys. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. If you are on Boost Camp, do not forget, tonight is our very first live workshop, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time or Eastern Daylight Savings Time, 6 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne, Victoria, or Sydney, Canberra, Victoria time. Please come and join us tonight, Boost Campers. We will be talking about more and more of these strategies that are just going to help us get into that Christmas with a bit of a rip and a roar. So enjoy your day today, and good to see you all online. Have a fabulous, fabulous time, whatever you're doing. Just enjoy and enjoy the food. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.